In the world of motorcycles, few names echo with as much history and resilience as Royal Enfield. It's a brand that feels quintessentially Indian, its thumping heart a familiar soundtrack on the subcontinent's bustling streets. But what if I told you this Indian icon is actually a British ghost, a relic from a bygone era of motorcycling that was given a second life thousands of miles from its original home? This isn't just the story of a motorcycle. It's the story of how a defunct British gunmaker became the biggest motorcycle brand in India and a global cult classic. This is the incredible tale of how India saved Royal Enfield. Our story begins not in Chennai, but in Redditch, England, in the late 19th century. A company called George Townsend and Company was known for making needles, but soon pivoted to bicycle parts and eventually, complete bicycles under the name Enfield. The Royal was added after they secured a prestigious contract to supply precision parts to the Royal Small Arms Factory in Enfield, London. This connection to firearms wasn't just a marketing gimmick, it was central to their identity. Their slogan, "Made like a gun, goes like a bullet," became their promise of robust, reliable engineering. By 1901, they had produced their first motorcycle, a modest machine with a 1.5 horsepower engine mounted on the front steering head. Throughout the early 20th century, Royal Enfield established itself as a key player in the British motorcycle industry. They supplied bikes for the British Army in both World Wars, their rugged construction proving invaluable on the battlefield. After the wars, the motorcycling scene exploded. Brands like Triumph, Norton, and BSA were household names, and Royal Enfield was right there with them, producing classics that are still revered today. And then, in 1948, came the bike that would change everything, the Bullet 350. With its innovative swinging arm rear suspension, it was a revelation in handling and comfort, setting a new standard for motorcycles of the era. The Bullet was a success, winning trials and races, and cementing Royal Enfield's reputation for building tough, go-anywhere machines. Little did they know, the Bullet's biggest journey was yet to come. Meanwhile, halfway across the world, a newly independent India was building its nation. The Indian Army needed a fleet of durable motorcycles for patrolling its vast and often rugged border regions. In 1952, they placed an order for 500 Royal Enfield Bullet 350s. The bikes proved to be a perfect fit for the demanding Indian conditions, their simple, robust design making them easy to maintain and repair in remote areas. The Indian government was so impressed that they decided they needed more, a lot more. The demand was so high that importing fully assembled bikes from England was no longer practical. A landmark decision was made. In 1955, Royal Enfield partnered with Madras Motors to form Enfield India, with a plan to assemble bullets in a new factory in Tiruvotiyur, near Chennai. Initially, the bikes were assembled from kits shipped over from the Redditch factory. But over time, the Chennai plant began to manufacture more and more components locally, slowly mastering the art of building the Bullet from the ground up. This transition was a pivotal moment. While the British parent company was supplying the know-how, the heart of the Bullet was slowly starting to beat with an Indian rhythm, crafted by Indian hands. Back in Britain, however, the golden age of motorcycling was coming to a grim end. The 1960s saw the rise of more sophisticated, reliable, and oil-tight motorcycles from Japan. Brands like Honda and Yamaha offered bikes that were faster, lighter, and required far less maintenance. The British motorcycle industry, with its aging designs and production methods, simply couldn't compete. One by one, the giants began to fall. Norton, Triumph, BSA, the legendary names that had once ruled the roads were facing financial ruin. Royal Enfield was no exception. Despite its storied history, the Redditch factory struggled. Sales dwindled, and by 1967, the original British Royal Enfield Company was forced to shut its doors for good. The brand was officially defunct in its homeland. Normally, that would have been the end of the story. A classic British mark, consigned to the history books, remembered only by enthusiasts and collectors. But this story has a twist. While the factory in Redditch fell silent, the factory in Chennai was just getting started. Enfield India, insulated from the competitive pressures of the Western market, continued to churn out the Bullet 350, a bike that was essentially a 1955 model. In India, the Bullet wasn't seen as an outdated classic, it was the king of the road. Its sturdy build, simple mechanics, and distinctive thump made it a status symbol, a reliable workhorse, and a machine with unmatched character. For decades, Enfield India operated in its own unique bubble. The design of the Bullet barely changed. It was a living fossil, a direct link to the golden age of British motorcycling, still being produced new, every single day. It wasn't always a smooth ride. The company faced its own challenges, including labor disputes and the threat of closure in the 1990s. But the Bullet had woven itself so deeply into the fabric of Indian culture that it refused to die. The brand survived, carried by the sheer loyalty of its customers. It was the bike of choice for the army, for cross-country adventurers, and for anyone who valued character over modern convenience. Then, as the new millennium dawned, something remarkable happened. The world started to notice the thumping sound coming from Chennai. A new generation of riders in the West, tired of anonymous, plastic-clad modern bikes, began looking for something more authentic. They craved simplicity, a mechanical connection, and a story. And there, still being made in India, was the Royal Enfield Bullet, the real deal. A brand new classic, with a pedigree stretching back over a century. Under new leadership from Eicher Motors, which had fully acquired the company, Royal Enfield began to embrace its unique identity. They didn't try to compete with the Japanese superbikes, they leaned into their heritage. They refined the classic designs, improving reliability and updating the technology just enough to meet modern standards, but without losing the essential character and soul of the machines. The company that was once a small, localized operation in India began to look outwards. It started exporting its bikes globally, opening dealerships in Europe, North America, and across the world. The ghost of Redditch was riding again, and this time, it was a global phenomenon. The brand that had died in Britain was resurrected in India, and now it was returning to conquer the world it had left behind. The Royal Enfield story is a perfect circle. A British bike, adopted by India, preserved through decades, and then re-exported to the world as a symbol of classic, timeless motorcycling. It's a testament to the idea that sometimes, the old ways are the best ways. It shows that character, heritage, and a simple, honest design can triumph over fleeting trends. The Royal Enfield Bullet isn't just a machine of metal and oil, it's a survivor. It's the British brand that India saved, a cultural icon that proves that a great story, and a great motorcycle, can truly be timeless. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, make sure to explore more stories of history and engineering right here on my channel, Bude Repo. Thank you for watching.